Welcome witches, warlocks, werewolves and wondrous creatures to Halloween Lane, the podcast where we lead you down the terrifying back alley of horror to see what scares it has to offer. I'm your horrific host, Notorious, and joining me today is the spectacular Shaun.
Oh god.
The malevolent Melina.
I'm being murdered.
And the murderous Manuel.
Who's the one murdering
I thought you were going to be like, I'm the one murdering her.
I'm sorry.
So on today's episode, Shaun?
Oh god, we're just throwing it right on me.
Shaun, come on.
Go on.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking so fast, I'm scared.
don't really know exactly what you're doing, so...
Okay, so I had the idea, which was brilliant to me at the time, to do, hey, what if I go over the history of internet horror, and then realized there is no way I'm going through all of that without going into so many unnecessary tangents.
Yeah, fair.
So instead, shortened it down a little. This is into notes that are very long.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is short.
For context, I've sent Michael and Melina a list of topics to really go over. Any that really caught their eye, but the ones I really wanted to focus on were creepypastas, which have sort of died out and how they've sort of declined over the last few years. Maybe ARGs if you want to like, if there's a few that like you want to talk about. I've got Marble Hornets here as like a possibility, and at the time of recording, the current Gravity Falls one is currently ongoing.
Oh, is that what BOB is?
Yes.
Okay, see, I was very confused because not long before we recorded this, I watched Band of Brothers.
Ah!
So in my head, BOB currently means
Yeah, it was
Band of
funny. You were
Brothers.
sending me that like messages with Band of Brothers, like shortened to that. I was like, I've been using that as a shorthand for Book of Bill. So this is weird to me. And also
It's a name. Bob.
Bob.
Can you tell this is the last episode?
You can tell we're at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's 9 a.m.
No, it isn't. Don't lie to me. And also the main thing I wanted to talk about, like the possible last thing, was the rise of analog horror, which has been the sort of new internet horror like fad that's gone on in like recent times. So
There are multiple mentions of Godzilla on here.
yeah, it's weird how much that popped up
Wow.
Yeah.
in multiple areas. So first off, I want to give like a sort of shout out to the video that sort of inspired this topic that I didn't even realize had inspired me until I went into researching on this.
Is this Redlines?
Redline,
Yeah.
Because you sent me a video that was where because he did a video covering like the history of internet horror like about a year ago.
I think so, yeah.
And I didn't realize that I had kind of gotten that idea from him until after I researched. So
I wondered if that was where you got the idea from
Yeah.
when you brought the idea up before.
Yeah, it's just sort of like a thing like, it feels like something I want to do, but I'm not sure where I got it. And then I realized where I got it. So shout out to him. Great video.
Yes.
Goes into other computer related horror topics. Like he talks about Y2K a little bit and stuff. Which were top areas I would love to go in, but not here. Mainly I wanted to talk about sort of internet horror as we sort of experienced it. Maybe me and Michael mainly, and I'm not sure to Melina to a lesser extent because you're a bit more hands off on horror.
Yeah, no, I avoided everything that said scary.
You kind of give me like wasn't allowed internet access until later.
I remember I wasn't allowed on YouTube because, as my brother said it at the time, there's dirty videos on there.
Okay.
I don't know what that meant, and I accidentally
Well, cool.
watched the music video for just any normal thing and realized later it was on YouTube. I was like, no.
Wait!
I've just remembered a couple of search terms that have shown up more than once for our podcast. So anyone who doesn't use YouTube Studio, who doesn't upload to YouTube, you might not know that in the background, we can see what you search to find us.
Yeah.
And we can see what specific
We know what you
videos
are.
it relates to. And a couple of times people have searched anime 18+.
Oh no.
A couple of people have searched fuck anime.
I mean, no, I support that notion.
And a couple have searched anime porn. Straight up.
I'm happy to be there for those people.
And they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna listen
Like,
to this.
I want to speak to them directly. You have a problem. We're here to
Why are
Bring
you
in as a
looking out
counselor.
for it
Seek
on
help.
YouTube?
some 12-year-olds.
That's what I said to Shaun. But
Like,
yeah,
if you're searching
so,
that on YouTube, like that's what you have to be like 12 or something. Just
Yeah.
not understanding. But
But yeah, no scary things for me. No.
So my first instinct was to think of what the earliest scary thing on the internet I can remember, and the first thing that jumped out at me in my mind was screamer videos.
Yeah, that's one I remember.
Yeah, it was either that or like shock sites, but like shock sites sort of died out by at the time we were sort of on the internet. So
are you talking about like Live Leak and like Reddit 50/50?
Yeah.
Reddit 50/50 hung on
for a
far
very
too
long time.
Yeah.
I mean, there was even like older shock sites as well, but whatever. That's like from like the 90s and stuff, like before our time.
Shock site?
Oh,
well,
yeah, summer
they have like
shock.
live footage of like people dying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like little sweet innocent child.
And Reddit 50/50 would be
oh no, I think I've seen Pewds do a
Yeah,
video
yeah.
on this.
yeah, you get like
Either
a
cute
kitten
animal.
eating a cake,
Yeah.
or man dismembered by industrial mincemeter,
Yep.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
safe for life. Okay,
Yeah.
and you're just fucking praying
So
it's
Yeah,
that
no,
kind of
I
stuff.
don't know.
The sort of 90s era of that was basically going to like an instant sounding website and being met with like live decapitations or something.
Yeah.
Like before the internet was like sort of
regulated.
regulated. Yeah.
Nice.
I say that like the internet's really regulated now.
It's more so now though.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's harder to randomly stumble across that
Yeah.
because Google.
Thank you.
The way it works, it searches, it can filter that
filters
stuff out. Yeah.
Like, is Live Leak even still around?
No, I think shut out.
No, I
like
got
a couple of
shut
years
down,
ago.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if some offshoot exists. Though.
Yeah, there's probably someone using the branding though.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, the first scary internet thing I can remember is screamer videos on YouTube, because at a certain point it felt like they were everywhere.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the
Look,
ones
it's
with
like
the
a little
car.
The car.
labyrinth
Yeah, the
game.
car-
And there's also Scary Maze Game. That's the other one I
Scary
remember.
Maze.
I remember this one as one I've like watched talk about. It's now a lost video. But like it was so back when I was a very little kid, I looked up like, you know, video game secrets and stuff as you do, and like it was sort of a similar sort of Luigi and Mario 64 like revealed video, but like it was obviously a joke. It would like zoom in on something like a sort of off texture and like Mario 64 whatever, and then it would just like cut into like the screamer from the ghost car
okay.
or whatever. And the reason I remember that so much is I think that video is specifically the reason why I'm so bad with jump scares now. Because I remember that video just fucking with me deeply. Like, I can't trust anything on YouTube for like a whole month after that. After I watched it, it fucked with
Get
me.
it?
Yeah.
Like if you nowadays were just like, let me just put something on, and something like that
Yeah.
suddenly happen while you're fully paying attention.
Yeah.
That fucked me up.
Yeah,
The
and
funny
I
thing is, I never had that. When I was looking at video game stuff, I would get rickrolled like constantly.
Oh no, I got rickrolled all the time. I'm gonna be honest. This has just brought me like an old memory of like I would get rickrolled, but I'd have no idea what the joke was.
Yeah,
what
no,
was
I didn't
happening.
know it was rickrolling at the time. I would just click on and it would just start playing the song. I'm like, oh,
I was just like that, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Why is this here? What's
Uh-huh.
happening? What's going on?" And it wasn't until like a year later I was just, "Oh, it's a joke."
Yeah, how to complete the Easter egg on Call of Duty Zombies Keynote they're toting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Yeah.
What does this mean? But
Especially
yeah,
when like clickbaiting was becoming a thing. Like it was just Rickroll.
Yeah,
Can
I
we,
was
can we
so
start this
exhausted.
episode like with a rickroll?
absolutely, yeah.
We'll see who's better than
strangers to
mine.
love.
Sorry.
So do I.
But yeah, I bring up specifically that Mario 64 video because it's now considered lost media.
Wow.
Because I am not the only one who seems to have been traumatized by that video.
okay.
As I found out in researching, there's actually this video. I think it's this one anyway. It has a whole article on the lost media wiki
Oh, okay.
because it apparently scarred a lot of people as kids that were like me. But now it's gone. It's been deleted.
Okay.
It lost to the sands of time.
Wow. I'm surprised it's never been re-uploaded.
Would it be
But-
funny
might
if you
be.
see a re-upload? It's like Mario jump scare finally found, and it's a Rickroll.
It's a rickroll, yeah. Honestly,
That'd be the ultimate internet
Yeah.
troll.
if I ever find it, I'm expecting to be tricked again.
Yeah.
Like I'm expecting to be to actually find something like substantial and then get screamed. I'd be like, God damn it, not again.
I've been duped, I've been deceived, and I've been quite
Possibly
possibly
bamboozled.
And then there's a video recommended. No, this is the real one. You're like,
Finally, Waluigi and Mario 64. God damn it! That's like the. There's also another one I had where like it was like I think it was a fake JonTron video or whatever.
Okay.
Where like it would have I can't remember the exact clip. It was one of his Halloween videos was like used as like a clip at the start. But like it would it would cut into one of his jokes where he would use the song Spooky Scary Skeletons, but
Oh.
like it would be bass boosted and then like a flashing picture of fucking Jeff the Killer or whatever would flash up.
What? Oh, the internet used to be cringe.
It
I mean,
was
it still
this
is.
was like 2012, so you
Yeah.
know, prime cringe.
Prime
Right.
cringe. We're a different kind of cringe now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're past the Sonic.exe era.
Mm.
Do you have any other like history of Screamer videos?
For like personal anecdotes.
Yeah.
Not really. No. Like
Never
it was
got caught
something
out?
I was always aware of, and I did get caught out like a couple of times, but like I mentioned, horror's not a big thing to me.
It doesn't affect.
doesn't
you as
have
hard.
that much of effect on me. Jump scares can sometimes get me if it's like a huh,
Yeah.
you know, like least expect it moment. But like the only thing that really affects me is like paranormal stuff.
Ah, okay.
Even though I don't really necessarily believe in any of it, it still just kind of gets
It makes you
in-
uncomfy.
Yeah, so there was always like that, you know, number 50, not Burger King Footloose,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
like
ask,
those
I-
channels.
Did you ever look
yeah.
up those like channels and stuff just because like you felt
Yeah.
like bored sometime and just
No, I watched that shit all the time because I knew it would make me feel something.
Wow.
no,
my
no,
God.
no, I mean,
can we get-
like the
walk
adrenaline,
slowly.
like
Oh yeah.
yeah.
you know the
Give you a rush.
that's the
Yeah.
thing about horror films, like why I like watching ones that do get under my skin, because there's an adrenaline rush
Yeah.
to it.
Honestly, I did something similar where like because sometimes I get the urge to like look up those channels again, even if they're nowhere near as popular as they used
And
to be.
most of them don't exist anymore. Most of them
No,
are
exactly.
deleted.
Like, I don't know if Top 5s even still exist. That's the one I remember a lot.
I think it got sold and then rebranded and then disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. But like I would look up those videos a lot of time, but it wasn't so much to get like an adrenaline rush or anything like that. For me, it was be like, okay, I'm anxious about this like thing, like in
Yeah.
school or whatever. I need something
Else.
else to scare me that's
Yeah.
not as serious to distract me from that, and that's why
Yeah.
I would look that up.
I also found most of them like genuinely quite interesting.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
For the
That was
time.
also like an element.
Yeah,
Because like there would also be like, you know, urban legends and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
because like it's so funny now hearing the Burger King foot lettuce.
Yeah.
I was there, man. I remember
same.
that video being like unironic.
Yeah.
And then, you know, years later it became a meme and everyone's like, I'm like,
You weren't
what?
there.
What's
You
happening?
weren't there.
What's happening?
Do not quote the ancient text to me, which I was there when it was written.
Hearing that in a meme and just sitting there and be like,
Like early YouTube, there was something that would happen if you're watching late at night, where it would start with like 5 deep sea creatures you didn't know about, and then it
Yeah.
was like the goat man lived under the bridge.
Yeah.
A cryptid. It was a cryptid.
It's a note on here, but I wonder if those types of videos have like in the modern day like been replaced by like iceberg videos.
I think so. I also think true crime has probably supplanted a lot of
Oh
it.
yeah.
That was the kitchen door.
I know, but holy fuck.
Hi, ghost.
Oh, hey Patrick.
The point has been fucking shit
Iceberg
out of me.
videos and true crime and stuff
crime.
supplanted those videos.
Yeah, I think like a different type of exploration of that idea has supplanted it, and it comes down to fucking BuzzFeed again.
It's always BuzzFeed.
It's always BuzzFeed because they had their own little series, BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries, was it? And then they broke off, and now they're Watcher, and they almost fucked up their own career.
Yep.
And so like it's almost like that idea of taking network television,
Yeah.
sanitized content, and putting it on a YouTube, because that's essentially what Unsolved Mysteries was. Whatever
Yeah.
Watcher is doing now is it's that
The ghost hunting.
the ghost hunting shows, yeah, which I love because those are always really cheesy and really like the people involved are so committed
Oh my god.
to it.
Yeah.
Like,
they take
um,
it super seriously.
Zach Baggins, I believe, is the name of the host of Ghost Adventures. He is so like super serious about.
Do you know the
show.
irate gamer?
Yes.
I
Do you know that he's
I was there,
now-
man.
Do you know that he's now a ghost hunter?
Wait,
What?
seriously?
The irate gamer.
Is
That's
is
what he
he
does
the
now?
one that's the line
No. I have to talk about
demons come get me or something? What was it? Oh, there's the joke image. I can't remember the meme. I can't remember what the fucking line is. Ed, it's
guy.
me, your boy.
Oh no, that's from BuzzFeed
Oh, that's from
Unsolved.
Yeah,
BuzzFeed.
that's
also.
another guy.
Oh yeah.
this. This is the irate gamer. It was like one of the AVGN
Yeah.
clones. He's now turned into schizo ghost hunter. He legit
Wow.
believes like he, and I know about his like turn because he
He's evil.
No, it's turned to good. Now he's Doctor
He's
Ghost.
the ghost doctor.
Yeah, he.
That's what he calls himself now.
Wow.
Yeah. He got a Sonichu medallion from Chris Chan. And he was
oh
like,
my god!
And he was like, "Oh, I can feel the spirits," and he's talking.
Look at this fucking
No,
chakra.
he's
image.
serious. It's not. He's not a meme. He's serious.
I saw a post about him recently where it was like he done the video with the Sonichu medallion and then like didn't post anything anywhere for like days, and so everyone was like,
He's
put
dead.
it on, he's fucking dead.
Yeah. And then he posted a video of like him using one of those like ghost tracker, which obviously, and they just make up random words. It's like a word generator.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, it says England. It says this. It says that. Like, what the heck? How do you go from AVGN clone to Ghost Doctor?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
what
be
is-
honest. I was there, man. Having watched his content way back when he was making Irate Gamer stuff, like, I'm not that surprised, to be honest. He sort of gave off that vibe.
Yeah.
Even back then, yeah.
I mean, it's so funny that like the AVGN clones have their own pipeline of either becoming something wildly different that you would never expect, or they are just like broken people. Because you got Game Dude who just
Game Dude is
his
literally who I was
life
about to
you know about Game
become.
fell apart. Yes, his life like
He's
just
a game dude. He's so
so
rude.
went insane. Like genuinely, his
I
life.
mean, he was also kind of insane.
I told you about him.
back then,
He stalked his girlfriend,
Mhm.
or we thought it was his
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
He had to leave. He was Canadian. He had to flee the country.
Uh-huh.
Went to China, Mexico. They don't know.
Oh
He
my
just
God.
fucking left the country. Yeah.
He used to like document everything about like
He would go up to cops and can be like, come on, do something, pig. Do something. What are you doing? Are you stalking me? Are you stalking me?" And the cops
I'll
like,
send you a video later. There's like a
Yeah.
2.5 hour
Like,
documentary
uh,
thing about him.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with a man with a face like this. Sorry.
"Yeah, look at this."
Yeah.
Alex,
Sorry, podcast listeners, you can't see the picture.
do
I'm
you know
showing,
they
but
found out? Hey, oh my
It's an
god, I'm
insane
talking
dead
about
inside
circumcision
smile.
again. They found out he was on a forum about people that got circumcised.
Yes.
Oh god.
a tugger, something like that, like something that would
Mate,
that promised
yeah.
to give your foreskin back.
Uh-huh.
And he would post like, "I got this random red bubbles. How come? Like, what is this? Is this normal? Should they wear it all night?" And he was saying, it was like, "No, it's not me," but it was his tag, name tag, everything. So it was hilarious that he was like, "It's not me," but he was like so mad at his parents because like, they circumcised me. It's like the Silent Hill guy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
this is the Silent Hill guy.
Yeah.
It's the same guy.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh man.
No.
Internet.
This is such a
horror.
different life.
Internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look back to what we
Internet
were.
horror was what we were going. I mean, this is kind of.
I mean, this is horror.
Kind of,
It's
yeah.
We got here from Screamer videos.
We
man.
did. I mean, that's sort of the nature of like YouTube is that it started there, and then we had AVGN, and then we had all the clones, and then it's an interesting timeline of how these things, how YouTube
How they
has
sort of
evolved
developed over time. Yeah.
You can't really get a Screamer video anymore.
Not
Like,
anymore.
you can
We're past that era.
No, yeah. It's like you can't do.
I think it's especially because we live in a time where the dislike button's gone, but like we're in an era where like you can preview what a video's gonna show and stuff.
True.
And, like,
Yeah.
And I
scan like the timeline stuff.
And for like stuff like Herobrine and what was the other one I had in mind? Something else. Oh, fuck.
Slenderman.
Yeah, Slenderman, more so Marble Hornets, where it's like you can upload 4K to YouTube.
Oh yeah.
You can't upload a random thing and be like, "Oh, home video."
I just
caught
thought
a
about
ghost.
thought about like something when this stuff was getting uploaded. There was no monetization.
Uh-huh.
It was
Oh, yeah,
legit
yeah.
people that posted
Yeah.
videos
It
to
was always, like,
just to
amateur stuff.
troll
Yeah.
people. And now it's like you do it because you want to get money.
Yeah.
You want to get paid. And no one would do like, I want to do a video that no one goes to watch because they know that it's a screamer. You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, like
unless you get, you wouldn't be able to monetize it. It's like it would be shared around, but
So not Screamer, not like any of that. There is one thing that I remember from early YouTube where there was a YouTube channel, I can't remember what it was called, that essentially, I think it was a social experiment,
okay.
but a guy posted
ARG
like,
sort of thing maybe.
I don't know the purpose of it or like where it went, but a guy posted like maybe like 6 videos and it was like Poppy is home,
Oh.
and it was the like dead body.
Okay.
It was like a garbage bag, like in
yeah.
shape of a body in a chair, and then it was just that for like 30 seconds or whatever, and then like another video would be like, Poppy comes home from shopping and it's just the body lying half and the door in the black bag, and then you would see it like it would cut and it would be like someone like pulling it away or something like that, and then it'd be like, Poppy's leaving or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember that being kind of disturbing, but again, you can't really.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like this is like probably some like art project or whatever.
Yeah, probably. Like I say, it was probably some social experiment or something like that.
Or an inside joke between friends.
So we're going into that. I got it listed under like ARGs, but like it's not really, kinda is. I had like a Lonely Girl 15, if you remember, like that. If you know that old. The whole
it sounds so familiar.
It was like, it was a web series, but like the thing about it is
she was an actress.
Yeah, she was an actress, but like the thing about it is she presented the whole thing for a long time as like a normal vlog video, but a sort of vlog series. But what was it? But like throughout it, she'd like subtly like give away more of her like identity. Like the plotline was basically that she was part of a cult.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole plotline.
Wow.
Like it was a whole plotline that was all sort of plotted out, but like she presented in a vlog sort of platform, which is why it was more of like an ARG sort of thing. But it sort of ended because she got found out that it was fake by like people looking in and stuff. Like, we can connect her to like this agency who have her as an actress named this.
Yeah.
But that was like, I bring that up because that was like one of the first ARGs on YouTube. Because she was like the most subscribed channel like way back in 2005 for like a good year or so.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now lost to not lost to time, but sort of faded from
I don't think
memory.
I've ever heard of that before.
I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I'm
that
surprised too.
One of the first like YouTube hoaxes or like stories or whatever that went on.
Yeah.
Because from what I know, it happened like as vlogging was taking off.
Yeah.
And people immediately were like, "You can fake that."
Yeah.
And like, what would
I mean,
happen?
vloggers do anyway.
Yeah, I think it's one of the first social
Fair.
experiments on YouTube.
Yeah. Again, like, ARGs, like a sort of storyline you sort of interact with online as a whole thing. I guess that sort of moves everything back into, sort of naturally segues into ARGs and like stuff like that, because which don't necessarily have to be horror, because a lot of the ARGs I usually think of are usually like marketing stunts.
Yeah, like I Love Bees for Halo 2.
Yeah, which that is a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But like there was an early one was AI, I can't remember who's in it. The movie AI.
Will Smith.
Was it Will Smith that was in that one?
AI. Artificial
AI
intelligence.
Yeah.
AI.
Oh, Will Smith's in our iRobot.
Was it like the Spielberg movie? Was it Spielberg that did that?
I don't know.
AI.
Yeah,
2001.
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, Spielberg. It was like the Spielberg movie from like 2001. That was a really early like movie that used like ARGs on like the internet and stuff to like sort of tell a story and give like lore to like the universe and stuff.
Oh, doesn't it have the Star Wars kid in it?
I think it. No, I know. I don't
No,
think
it's a Sixth Sense.
Oh, it's a
Sixth
Sixth
Sense
Sense
kid,
kid. That's it. Yeah.
I get why you thought that though. Those weren't necessarily.
Is it Jude
horrors,
Law?
though.
It's Jude Law.
I think Jude Law's in it. Yeah.
Yeah. But like the more horror ones usually came later, like, and the one I picked out as a example was Marble Hornets, which sort of grew in from like the Slender.
I was there, man.
You were there.
I
man.
was there. Yeah.
Did you watch the whole thing? Or like try and watch the whole thing?
I tried watching the whole thing. I dropped off around the last season because it got like really like sporadic in its uploads.
What was like the storyline? Like just if you were.
Yeah,
Oh
I have no
god,
idea what
this is so hard.
Because I'd want to explain it, but I feel like you'd explain it better than I could.
Okay, so this was actually my idea for last year's Halloween episodes.
I've accidentally resurrected this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So the basic plot of Marble Hornets is that these friends are like goofing around and filming stuff, and they're making a movie or something like that. And weird stuff starts happening, and they check the footage, and there's like weird stuff in the footage and stuff like that. And so it's all based around this premise of like text showing up on the screen at the start, and he's like, as I was making the film and I was checking back footage, I found this, and it shows like a clip of whatever, and it's Slender Man, behind a door. In universe, Slender Man is known as the Operator.
Because like Slenderman hadn't even gotten a name at that point when Marble Hornets was being developed.
Yeah, and so they were the Operator was like influencing the people in the production, and so there was like infighting started. One of them killed another member, and they were like trying to either trying to figure out who did it or trying to like get them to like turn themselves in or something like that. And eventually it just kind of like the main character, the guy filming and stuff like that, got more infected by the operator and like did more weird stuff. It's a really bizarre thing, and because it's so like chopped up into short pieces,
it's very complex as well.
It's very complex, and like it's also not just the main series that exists on YouTube now. There was other videos. There were a spin-off channel that posted extra stuff. There was like a debunking Marble Hornets thing that was actually to do with the actual
Which was part
show.
of the whole thing.
Yeah. So it's this really like actually complicated thing to understand
that
because
we couldn't really put in a full episode.
No, and like trying to wrap my head around it again when I was watching the stuff last year to try and like, this was like rundowns and you know, compilations talking about the story. It was like really hard to keep track. And yeah, so it's interesting, but it's hard to watch now because there's so much stuff you just had to be there for. Because some of it doesn't exist anymore either.
Yeah. Some of it's gotta be like lost media. There's a lot of like, surprisingly a lot of like YouTube lost media nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not surprising, but like just how it goes. Like a lot of videos from like 10 to like 15 years ago have just disappeared these days.
Because they would do like update videos and then delete them, and those were always part of what was going on.
Yeah.
And you'd have like, again, announcement videos that were part of what was going on, and then they would delete them. So yeah. Fucking ARGs, man.
Yeah. I guess that sort of makes them like sort of hard to talk about because they can be very complex. Like very quickly. Because to sort of give a quick rundown of the current one I'm following, I guess. Except it's sort of in a lull right now because nothing's really happened for like weeks.
Yeah.
But so, not affiliated with any brands. I need to like to put that forward. But so Gravity Falls had like a book release like about a month ago now. I got it on like the day it came out, but like, and usually with Gravity Falls, as it works, is that like usually every piece of media sort of has like secrets and like codes like hidden in between stuff, and this one, the Book of Bill, was no different. It was very quickly found that one of those codes led to a website which had a password screen, which you could find the password in the book. I actually ended up finding the password like by myself before finding the website link.
Oh, okay.
So I was like,
this means something.
so it was like to find the password of the website, and I was like, what website? What are you talking about? What does this mean? Go on the subreddit, find the website link. Okay, there we go. Put it in, and it led to a countdown basically. A countdown that when it hit 0 kept counting down because the site wasn't finished yet. Fucking Alex. So that was an extra week of waiting. But anyway, right now, currently, it's led to a website that has a whole bunch of other stuff towards it. Like, the main framing is that you've got, like, a laptop sort of screen in front of you, and you've got to put in some different passwords to get a fuck ton of different pieces of information. I showed this to you, I think, but I have entire, like, folders.
Yeah,
on,
you showed me screenshots.
Yeah, of just, like, all the information that's come out from just this website, and it's so fucking much, dude. Like, I would try and explain the whole thing in like one episode, but that would be so long. It would take so much planning to get anything coherent out of it.
Oh, I'd need to write a full script if I were going to cover Marble Hornets.
Yeah.
Like I would need to lay out all the information properly in the proper context and stuff. So
like it would need to be either a podcast series that we do here, like as a actual production thing, or I'd make like a full-on YouTube video on it that like other people are probably already doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So that makes talking about ARGs pretty hard because they're very complicated. But to go off the Slender Man thing, that kind of naturally goes into the next topic, which I think is a pretty big one: creepypastas.
Yes.
Which kind of dominated internet horror. I think for a lot of the time we were online, like as kids and early teens, I'd want to say, like late 2000s, early 2010s. Well, not you. Sorry, I forgot.
You could tell by the look on my face I was lamenting
Yeah,
that I've been
I
a
had that
teen.
sudden-
I was like a teen throughout the whole thing.
I had the sudden realization of, oh wait, Michael's like, that 4 years makes a difference.
Yeah, yep.
But yeah, creepypastas.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about creepypastas a little bit on like
Yeah.
an app before.
Yeah, I think we've
Halloween.
covered some
We did a
specifically,
Halloween
in
episode
the
about
Halloween
it. Yeah,
episodes.
We talked about like a few, but they were everywhere in this.
Oh, they
time.
were.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was a, I think there still is like a whole wiki like dedicated to them and stuff.
I remember losing days just sitting and reading them.
Yeah.
You know, what was the one channel? It's not the one you have, I don't think. You had one written down. here somewhere.
Candle Cove.
Candle Cove, yeah. And
Yeah.
then there was also another one, channel 21, channel 58,
Yeah.
something
is
like
was
it,
that.
related,
I think
wasn't
isn't that one the one you talked about on our creepypasta episode?
I
the
may
bear.
have. Yes, so there's
Yeah,
there's
the
two
bear.
different, slightly different ones.
Okay.
Where so it's Candle
been a
Cove and then
while.
Channel Zero, and in the like creepypasta TV show they made, that I think the second season adapted
Okay.
Channel Zero. So they're kind of similar but slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lost days to them.
Well, they were around for a long time. I remember to go about like my own experience. I remember the ones I read. I mean, I knew about Sonic.exe because that was
Yeah.
the infamous bad creepypasta.
Yeah.
Which like it was terribly written. It was overly cliched. It was fucking laughable because they were making Sonic the Hedgehog a fucking demon. You can't take that seriously. We've talked about
That's
it.
no good.
That's no good. We've talked about it a little bit. We ended up making a skit.
We
kind
did.
of
It's
about
on Napcast.
Sonic.exe go to the post office.
Come on, it's so funny.
Still love that clip.
Yeah.
But like researching this, I found out like just going over like that Redline video again. That's the creator of Sonic.exe kind of went nuts.
Oh wow.
No, not just,
It was the demon Sonic.
well, it wasn't just that. Just on
Possessed
like because not long after I think it got uploaded, or maybe sometime after it got uploaded on the creepypasta wiki, it got taken down because of it didn't meet the writing standards of like the mods. Because it was that bad, and the guy went on a fucking rant.
Yeah.
I
I remember
d-
we talked about that.
Yeah, I don't want to go over the whole thing. The Redline video goes like over the whole thing, and it's like he goes over like, this is such a scandal. This is a scam. These elitist mods are silencing me. We must rally together to conquer the internet.
I think
God.
that was your topic for maybe the first Napcast Halloween
That was
episode?
Melina's.
Was it yours?
I did Sonic EXE, but
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
do.
I think
further
you might have
into-
brought it up at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I'm just having a flashback of like, I'm pretty sure this conversation has happened with these microphones in front of us already.
I don't remember learning about like the creator having a meltdown though until like recently.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But no,
Yeah.
I mentioned Channel Zero, sorry, just quickly to go back to that.
yeah,
It wasn't Channel Zero, it was the one I covered on one of the Napcast Halloween episodes was Caledonian 21. Which is the one we read with the funny voices and the cave voices where
The bear.
the bear. Yeah.
Never forget the bear.
Yeah.
I still think we did a really good job of that.
Yeah,
episode.
I forgot that episode like existed for a bit.
I
there.
would love to do another episode like that, but that would put in so much effort.
We also don't have the effects thing on the board now,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's the only downside.
One day.
Yeah. Plus, I don't know if my throat can keep up with that anymore.
You did it once, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember back in like the height of creepypastas, though, there were a bunch of Pokemon ones.
Yeah, Lavender Town.
For some reason,
Yeah,
there were so many
Lavender Town.
Pokemon
You've
ones.
mentioned Lavender Town, I think.
Again, I think that was on one of the.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did an episode on like
They're like the
Lavender Town stuff.
music is like hypnotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you listen to it,
Like-
it made you ill or something like
It
that.
made kids want to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Because spooky. So yeah, not to retread old ground on that front, but there are a
Yeah.
fuck ton of Pokemon ones. But even outside of like Lavender Town, there were ones where like, you know, the whole anime series is actually taking place in Ash's head because he's in a coma. And
Maybe he is after Super Soldier Porygon.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one where you in the game you actually end up killing one of the Pokemon.
Oh, isn't there the one again? I think we talked about this. Where is it
Forgetting if we talked about like that one. But
the rivals Rattata dies?
yeah, there's like a theory that like he has like a certain Pokemon that he doesn't have after a certain point. In
Yeah.
the game, so
Mhm.
Oh
killed
yeah,
him
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
he
I heard
couldn't
about
find
this.
a Pokemon Center in time.
Yeah.
Stuff that seems scary when you're 11. But
Yeah.
when you get past that age, you're like, oh, this is
Okay.
hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of Pokemon ones, and I remember one of the classic ones that like I remember not being around for, but just sort of like the aftermath of it was Ben Drowned.
Oh,
Which is like
Zelda.
The classic sort of like haunted game
Yeah.
cartridge one, which like makes sense for Majora's Mask because it's a haunted. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've talked about this.
I'm having flashbacks
Yes, I
again.
think we
I
have.
feel like I keep going over stuff I've already talked about.
I think at least some of the stuff we're mentioning right now is stuff that we talked about last year.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we did icebergs.
We did creepypastas and icebergs.
Creepypastas.
Yeah. Something else. I think we did
Internet
another
Did
thing.
we talk
Yeah.
about Herobrine last year as well?
I don't think so.
I don't
That
think
was-
so.
That
No.
was huge. It was
Yeah,
like
I
it was
remember
Minecraft
that being a big
taking
thing.
Even I remember because, I have a Minecraft player here.
Yeah. Anyone who's come into
veteran even.
any
Yeah.
sort of contact with Minecraft, I think has
Knows
heard
Herobrine.
Herobrine.
Mhm.
and has at least tried to build like a thing that
A
would summon it
shrine.
once.
Yeah.
And then it's like, maybe it's just because I do the Pocket Edition. Maybe it only works on PC.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
only works on PC.
You gotta get
Yeah,
this
yeah.
version of the PC build
Yeah, yeah,
as well
yeah,
because
yeah,
they
yeah.
took
Of
him out
course.
in this new build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ignore the fact that they keep saying.
I mean, yeah, it was-
Herobrine in
yeah.
every update
Yeah.
since.
Yeah.
I remember for like Herobrine specifically, the story was always a little bit different every time I heard it,
Mhm.
which sort of fed more into the whole urban legend
Yeah.
like feeling of it. Because like one story I heard that like he was Notch's brother, that then got kind of ignored when Notch came out and said, "I don't have a brother."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what the hell. But I remember another one where like he was like some sort of rabid glitch or whatever that got weirdly out of hand. I remember one where like you'd have to take certain steps to like summon him in the game and stuff, and like there'd be certain like random events that would show he's in the game, like random forests just being on fire or whatever.
Yeah. Totally not a lava pool nearby.
No,
No,
absolutely
no.
Or
No.
oh wait, no.
Ghosts.
Minecraft doesn't have lightning. What am I talking about?
It does.
It does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it have lightning strikes?
Yeah.
I feel like I've never actually seen one.
Yeah, rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's rare is real life then.
But they can start a forest fire.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
No, ghosts. It's all ghosts.
Yeah,
It's the
of course.
yokai.
Okay, yeah.
I see on the list the 2-sentence horror subreddit.
Oh yeah, Reddit as well.
Well, the meat worm. The meat worm is the most scary one.
Yeah.
That's sort of like become not like the modern version of creepypasta, but like the shortened down, condensed
Yeah.
version
Yeah.
of creepypasta.
But like
these
low
days.
effort.
Yeah, very low effort.
The knife guy.
But then
The
who
hallway
was,
man.
But then who was phone?
Who was phone?
Who was phone?
Who was phone?
I was the imposter.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh man.
We talked about Ted the Caver before, I think.
We have, yeah.
I did a whole
You
thing,
did that
yeah.
last time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was also one creepypasta I read sort of recently was like the one about a Godzilla NES game.
Oh,
weirdly enough. I don't know why Godzilla kept popping up in this
Yeah.
like research bin, but like it was surprisingly, I don't want to say well done because like it's not like high art or anything, but like it was just a gripping story of like I found this old weird like game, but like the whole thing was like each level had a certain like Toho monster that like Godzilla was fighting and stuff, but there was this one that was sort of like very much sort of clashed with the aesthetic, like very demonic, sort of like a demonic sort of giant scorpion sort of like thing. And I remember reading it and like being sort of like immersed. I can't remember the full details because this was like 2 years ago. But I remember like getting to the end of it, and the ending was just like a standard sort of like comic book final battle where like he gets absorbed into the game and stuff. And at that point I was like, oh, this just became dumb so
Oh
fast.
wow, yeah, what a way to ruin it.
Yeah. I feel like that happens a lot with creepypastas.
Yeah, they can
like,
never
in
stick
this
the
era.
landing.
Yeah.
Like, they start with like a good premise, but like by the time they have to like formulate an actual plot, there's like a
Yeah.
climax, they sort of faltered by the end.
It's like posting your first draft. You know, it's all
Yeah.
it is they've posted the first draft. They haven't thought it through.
No one's read over, be like, my
Yeah.
guy.
You
Yeah.
ever read the origin of was it Jeff the Killer?
Yeah.
Because it's just a scary picture.
Yeah.
But then they tried to make a copy pasta out of it. Or the copy
Yeah.
pasta came before, and it's so stupid it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like people made fun of him in high school, so he cut his
Yeah,
face.
but like
Because
he got
Joker.
yeah, he got acid on his face, or like someone. It's very strange.
It's a DC
Or
comic
Bleach.
book villain like origin.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to like remember like just what creepypastas I know, and it's not too much because they all just sort of ended that same way of like really crappy endings.
Yeah.
So I just sort of want to move on from there, because going on from the only one I think that's really like had a staying ground and from like that era has sort of been Slender. Kinda.
I guess Slender Man's like the most famous one, and I think that mainly comes through like the game, and then PewDiePie, because he played it, and that kind of went boom.
Which I think
And then
sort
the
of
murder.
Yeah.
I mean, attempted murder, right?
Yeah, it was, I think the girl actually
she's
lived.
I think she
Right,
lived.
yeah.
Yeah. There was a HBO documentary. I haven't seen it yet.
I think that sort of like naturally goes on to like the next sort of stage in like Internet Horror, which was like horror games.
Yeah.
Horror games, 'cause, like, and sort of the whole sort of symbiotic nature of like Let's Players around this time, because Slender was the first sort of horror game that was made specifically for
Yeah.
YouTubers
That's true.
and stuff, because it was easy to download, easy to play, and like easy to get totally real reactions to.
Yeah.
Because looking back to like, I'm thinking specifically like the first Smosh Games video where like they play like Slender Man. You can tell neither Anthony or Ian are really that scared by it, but they're like,
You have to play it up.
you have to play
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's part of the brand.
Mm-hmm.
But like that sort of gave birth to like I think Amnesia might have been a bit before, but like,
I think the second Amnesia.
Yeah,
The
because it
machine
was
for pigs,
Yeah.
which was legit made for PewDiePie.
yeah,
They made it so
Yeah.
PewDiePie could play it. I mean, not for real, but like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
looked like the first one had a story that was like, not a story, like it was made before YouTube gaming was big, because it was the first game that PewDiePie played and it got big, like
Yeah.
the horror game. And then they were like, oh, streamers like to play this game, and it got like a boom of
Yeah, yeah.
sales.
Yeah.
they found like
But
a
this-
formula.
Yeah, but the second one was just bad, and it was like a very streamlined formula, very easy to use just to like make let's
Yeah,
play
like
videos.
this is the part where you like do an exaggerated scream or whatever, because
Yeah.
this is the jump scare
Yes.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the sort of natural evolution from that is, I can't believe I'm bringing this up, FNAF.
No, I was actually
yeah,
about to
no,
say
that's-
that.
That was huge for YouTube.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's 10 years old now.
Oh, don't do that to me.
Don't
10 years old, I think, this month.
I was
That's time of
17
recording.
when it came out.
Yeah.
What about the movie?
It's all right.
I didn't see the movie.
Is it Nicolas Cage in it?
No.
Josh Hutcherson.
And
Matt
Matthew
Hart.
Lillard.
Oh no, I think Nicolas Cage was in a game that was
Long
in a
Legs.
movie that a couple of years ago, or even more. It was in a movie that was basically like made with animatronics, like in a kind of like Five Nights at Freddy.
Wonderland.
I don't remember.
I feel like I know what you're talking about. I'm sure I've seen.
I have no idea what this is.
No, it's not ringing any bells here.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know what movie you're talking about, and I feel like the name's on the tip of my tongue, but
But FNAF was so... Even
Yeah.
I played FNAF. I sucked at it.
Yeah, I mean...
I did it once.
Here's the thing. I think it's hard to actually be good at
Yeah.
FNAF.
Yeah, well, it's a very simple game at the end. of the day,
Yeah.
Like,
It's-
Willis Wonderland. Sorry,
That's it. Yeah,
Okay.
Willy's Wonderland.
I want to search up that movie later. Now.
Yeah, FNAF is like, it's so random that actually like fulfilling the conditions to survive all 5
Yeah.
days is difficult.
I
Yeah.
think the thing about FNAF is I think it hit the very perfect balance of like at the time where like the game itself was simple, so you could make content out of it.
yeah.
It was jump scary enough where like people could get a genuine sort of, at least for at first,
Yeah.
a genuine sort of jump out of it. And it was also very marketable to kids.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
also the symbiotic relationship for like 10 years. Well, not 10 years because he retired, but like,
Matt Pat.
yeah, the symbiotic relationship with game theory.
Yeah.
Where
It's just theory.
he would come up with shit, and then like Scott Cawthon would either incorporate that.
Yeah, Scott Cawthon
Yeah.
sort of got the idea of what if I actually play into this a bit, because this is working out not just for my game but also
Yeah.
for his content. Like we can have like a sort of business relationship going on here, which sort of led to this what I like to call game theory games sort of coming out like,
Yeah.
afterwards, with Hello Neighbor and like
Well, I mean, Hello Neighbor literally begged Matt Pat to.
Yeah.
that's the like big like the poster child for that one, because that one was begging for like getting that clout basically
Yeah.
from like game theory.
And it started out well in the sort of like alpha beta stages,
Yeah.
and then the more
the
they
final
developed
game
it,
was just
it was terrible.
awful,
Yeah.
But you had stuff like that. You had stuff like Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Oh god, I forgot
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
What's this?
I've seen a let's play of that.
what's it called?
Bendy and the Ink Machine. It was sort of not FNAF-like, but it was sort of taking the creepy sort of
Yeah.
1920s cartoon aesthetic and
Oh.
making that a horror game. But that sort of played into the whole map part thing because he did
Yeah.
theories on that for a while, but like none of them really stuck like FNAF.
No.
Mainly because FNAF kept getting crazier and crazier because of it.
Well, Scott Cawthon would churn out a game like every 6 months for a while.
That probably helped, yeah.
Yeah, because like as you said, it's a pretty simple format. It's not like you have to think of like you know
Yeah.
storylines. It's just you're here. We got some new stuff for
thing
you.
is,
It's
wasn't
simple
even-
and it's also like, sorry, just to like go on to this. I think it was also like, because I remember a lot of kids like would download like the app on like their phone and stuff and play
Yeah.
it there, so it was easy. It was easily accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of people who saw like MatPat or like Markiplier
Yeah.
play the game and stuff would be easy to like access it and it would just feed more and more.
And
into
you also
it.
don't need a NASA supercomputer to run the game
No.
either. It's like, Melina's laptop could run it fine.
Easy.
Probably. Probably not.
2 frames per second.
yeah, you can't play Minecraft, right? So
But like, he wasn't just doing the main series. He also did like spin-offs as early as like 2 and 3, because there was also FNAF World,
yeah.
which was like an RPG spin-off.
Yeah,
thing.
which was fully taking the piss at that point,
Yeah.
like 2 years in.
Did you hear someone screaming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard. Perfect for Halloween.
They heard us talking about FNAF and we're like, oh god.
Stop
no.
it! Stop!
No.
Okay, I don't think it's. But anyway,
I remember following the lore, or trying to follow the lore of FNAF for
Yeah.
like a good while, until around the time I want to say like the 6th game or whatever the fuck Pizzeria Simulator was.
oh god.
And at that point I was like, okay, this is just going too far. And like at that point the stuff was also being related to like the book series and stuff, and I
Yeah.
was going full multimedia. I was like, I can't keep up with all this shit.
I dropped out around 4, I think.
I think that was a pretty fair time to just stop, because that felt like when that came out, that was supposed to be like the end of the main series.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
It's so different as well from the other 3. Man, that was a weird time.
Yeah.
2014, Jesus.
2014, 2015. Like within that year was when like the peak growth was happening.
Yeah.
I remember sticking around a little bit for, I think Sister Location was like the 5th game.
I don't know.
But like at that point, like that was when shit was getting really wacky with like, oh, William Afton's now a zombie with like a robot skeleton in him, and it's like, okay, this is just going off the rails. And this was already not on like a super stable thing anyway. It was at that point I realized that like the lore was just Scott Cawthon was making it up as he went along. Like he was never making an actual story.
No.
He was just making theory.
As soon as it
fodder.
started to print money, he was like, oh, well, I guess I'll just keep doing this then.
Yeah. So at that point, I just sort of stopped giving a shit. But like, by that point, you were getting a bunch of like clone games from that are still sort of going on today. I think some putting more unique spins on the other, like is it Poppy's Playground or whatever? Was it?
Oh, is that the
like
one
last-
with the hands?
Yeah,
yeah.
What do you call them?
I don't know.
Sticky
hands?
hands.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That was sort of big like last year.
I think, yeah, maybe.
That's the last big thing I can think of.
It's one of those things that, like, I don't pay attention to that sort of thing anymore because it's been and gone for me. So I don't know what, like, is the current in version of that.
Yeah.
It's just people talking. I don't think that makes it picking
like
that up.
some of the lore, because FNAF was so fucking big in every community for some reason. Like there was this channel I followed that made like musical parody type things. They made fucking FNAF ones featuring Markiplier, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, what was it?
Bops.
It was actually in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, Living Tombstone song.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
in the
Oh, yeah,
credits
yeah,
of the
yeah.
movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about this and I've just forgotten.
I
but-
probably brought it up when I watched
Yeah.
it, but yeah.
Damn, I forgot that song existed.
Really,
Oh, come on.
far beyond its shelf life, putting it
Yeah.
in a movie, to be
I
fair.
think it's
But then the
nice.
movie coming out is far beyond
Yeah.
Yeah,
FNAF's
because
shelf life.
FNAF sort of died in popularity, I want to say,
Yeah.
like by the time 2020 hit around.
Oh, before
Yeah.
then, I'd say even.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it was on its last legs, like 2018,
I-
I
2019.
think you got to remember, like, the first 4 games came out all within like 1 year or
Yeah.
something. Like, it was an incredibly short amount of time, and there's only something like what 7 or 8 games
Okay.
now. So I think the longer that went between each title, the popularity just kind of
Tailed off.
yeah. And then, like you say, it started making books and
Yeah.
this, you know,
Yeah.
media across.
And now they're doing VR stuff.
Yeah, there's VR games.
I mean, I do think it's an interesting game to be VR adaptable, but I don't think you need to reinvent it. Just make it
No.
like, oh no, this is the VR version of the original.
Yeah, that's it. You can just put 1, 2, 3, 4 into VR and you're fine.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that would really be interesting to me.
Yeah, because it's, you know, more immersive, more
Uh-huh.
you can't leave and stuff. So I
Yeah.
think that good. Don't try it.
Don't reinvent the
No.
wheel.
Yeah, just stop.
Yeah, no.
I almost want to ask like how much have we talked?
Like 52 minutes. So
Okay. I'm not sure what the last thing. I guess the last thing I possibly wanted to talk about was. I wanted to go into sort of analog horror, but that feels like it could be like a lot.
What's analog horror?
Okay, it's sort of. I'm not sure if you've seen any of these videos, but like the sort of horror aesthetic where like VHS sort of horror, where like
Oh.
the story would be portrayed through like what's supposed to be different VHS tapes that have just been uploaded to like YouTube or whatever. They're supposed to like tell a story, but like I've got like a few, but like some of them, a lot of them are kind of series that are still technically ongoing. That
Yeah.
have just sort of died over like time. So if I were, and a lot of the stories can be really wacky.
yeah.
Like the first one I remember like finding was Local 58, which I think started off as just like occasional creepy videos that like had like a VHS like aesthetic, but like over time it was like sort of expected to have an overarching story, but like you can tell the creator I don't think really tried to give it one.
Oh, yeah.
So now it's in a sort of limbo state. And also videos were coming out like 2 years at a time. So you know there wasn't really a
Yeah, it wasn't like you had an
momentum.
active following that was
Yeah.
like come back for weekly or something. It was just
yeah.
I mean, even though I get it if that's what you're trying to do, if you want to have an audience, that's not the way.
Yeah,
just
it's like
not it.
interesting concepts, and like there's like this one video where like the premise is that like, oh, it's an old tape from like the 70s on if like America was invaded or whatever, and like the tape would like the horror part of the tape was basically like, if America gets invaded, we are going to tell our populace to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Sounds American.
Yeah, like the whole aesthetic is like, this is the Department of American Dignity or whatever, and even in defeat we will show our enemies like
You can't get
our
us.
resolve.
Yeah.
Like sort of small like ideas like that like I think when it's sometimes you try and give like an overarching story kind of falls apart,
Yeah.
and there's other ones where like it's usually like,
I'm curious about fake piracy screens for it.
oh yeah, that was a little sort of fad around like 2020 I want to
Okay.
say, where like so the backstory to this one was like I don't know, maybe because we were all like during quarantine we all sort of went nuts, but there was a sort of fad that like I talked about before, the Mario 64 sort of creepypastas and
yeah.
stuff, and like the whole haunted beta sort of thing. A sort of spin-off of that was that like you'd get found footage of like early like tapes and stuff of like the scary sort of like beta builds and whatever, and what kind of got spawned out of that was like creepy made up piracy screens.
Oh yeah, we've talked about this before. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, no, I remember you telling me about this. It's a bizarre
Yeah.
offshoot one. You're
I can sort of see the logic, but like you had to sort of be there at the time to see it sort of form.
and you're kind of limited in how many games you can pull that off with, because there's
because-
not a lot of games actually have.
Anti-piracy screens.
Yeah.
Like the only one that was like legit legitimately sort of scary, like that was actually real, was I think a Donkey Kong Country one that has like Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong like in jail or something.
Yeah.
Or like piracy or whatever. And people, it's like the memories of that, like just sort of being taken to like a horror level. It was sort of a fad for a while. It sort of died down, I think, after like 2021.
Yeah.
And the whole Mario 64 scary thing sort of died down after that. But there's other like sort of series as well for analog horror. Like there's a Gemini Home Entertainment, which takes the sort of idea but adds like sort of it combines it with the plot of The Thing, of like aliens assimilating like humans and stuff. It's the reason I didn't want to make this like a full episode after a while is because I realized that trying to explain them is kind of hard without like that visual component to them. Like I'd have to show them to you to really get it. But some of them are interesting. The one that sort of interested me was like Mandela Catalog, which is one of the bigger ones, which the premise was basically like, demons were basically coming out and like trying to take over people through like VHSs and stuff.
Okay.
And there's this whole like plot line of like the head demon like going, I don't know if they went like back in time or whatever, but just sort of like went back to biblical times and stopped Jesus from being born.
What in the nostalgia nerd is happening?
I know, right? Like here's the thing, it's hard to describe because this shit is batshit insane.
Yeah.
Like I'd have to like talk about all the stuff without sounding like I am batshit insane and trying to get like some sort of coherence out of it.
Yeah.
Which is why I sort of expanded this into an internet horror thing for the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, Godzilla's again on this analog horror.
Yeah, because
list.
I found a Godzilla one while like researching that like frames it so like it takes the horrible conditions of like the actual Godzilla suit and makes like an eldritch horror.
Oh, that's not at all the direction I
didn't
expected
think
that
that
to go. Wow, okay. When you were talking like horrible conditions, I'm like, oh, it's like taking the idea of the horrible conditions of the fallout of the Castle Bravo bomb, which created Godzilla.
Yeah, you'd think that would be it. No, it always goes for the more batshit stuff.
I don't know if I've talked about this. I don't think I had space for it, and I don't know if I remembered it when we were talking about Godzilla in a previous episode. Just sorry, random tangent.
No, go ahead.
I've been reading a book called Melting Sun, and it's about the history of Japanese relationship with power and then nuclear power as a result. And one of the parts of the book, it's giving a rundown of the history. It talks about like the Castle Bravo tests, because they were the castle tests, or whatever the name for those, the overarching like atomic tests were in the sort of Bikini Atoll, because those aren't too far away from Japan, especially their fishing territories. And so the day of the actual Castle Bravo test, the most famous one, the biggest bomb that America's ever tested, they had originally set up a certain exclusion zone.
I think I've heard this
that,
story.
Everyone was informed about, and a ship went out, the Lucky Dragon 5, onto the sea, and they were heading for a certain area around there because that was where it was like prime fishing waters. And so they set out, and it took them like maybe 3 or 4 days to get there because, you know, it's back in the 50s or whatever. They had the information of, so the exclusion zone is here, we're nearby, but we're not close to it, we're not in it. Except the day of, or the night before the Castle Bravo test, they expanded the exclusion zone like an extra however much, and suddenly they were inside it. And so the Castle Bravo bombs detonated, and they're just bombarded with the fallout and radiation of it. They like get rained on by radioactive fallout rain.
Yeah, I remember like because I heard the story, like I think on like a Godzilla related like video as like part of the inspiration. And I remember like the way like the anecdotes said, it's like they like woke up one morning to like watch the sunrise and then suddenly got shocked as it seemed to like burst into flames. Yeah. Like they thought the world was ending basically, and suddenly they're covered with like the soot. But at that point, they're not gonna realize it's like fallout and stuff.
One of them died soon after. And this was in March 1954, and then Godzilla came out in October or something, 1954, the same year. And it's like Godzilla's origin later becomes influenced by this event. But just remember reading that.
What a world.
I know.
God, yeah.
yeah, imagine like me to live through the horrific events of the end of the Pacific War during World War II, where 2 nuclear bombs are dropped on 2 heavily populated cities in Japan, and to then end up in one of the tests and be bombarded with radiation and survive that.
Painful.
Yeah, that's insane. So yeah. Anyway, sorry.
That's a good anecdote.
Nothing to do with analog horror though.
No, but like it's still horror.
Yeah, true. It's horrific.
Even though not internet horror, which is the topic.
No,
of the
it's
video,
real life
like,
horror. Events we should not have allowed to play out.
Yeah. I think that's most of the points I really. There are another points I have on like my notes that like I could go over, but I feel like I've talked enough already.
What's haunted PS1 quickly before we wrap?
That sort of ties back to like the sort of internet horror games and stuff. That's the sort of like new one where like it's a series of like small, tiny little like concepts basically.
Okay.
In like game form, where like people will take the aesthetics of the PS1 and stuff and like make
like Crow Country, which is on Steam right now.
I don't know. I'm not sure what that is.
Oh, okay. I'll show you later.
So you'll have to like show me that later. But like basically, I sort of liken it as a weird sort of like thing to base this off. Imagine like haunted maps and like Gmod and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like just these small, tiny little concepts or like levels or whatever that like you can download as like part of the haunted PS1 package for like a certain month or year or whatever, and just play around with them. And some of them are really good.
Yeah.
I haven't looked too much into them, but there was some that like I think really like stand out. So I'll show you like a few.
Okay.
Like,
That
send some
sounds
of them to you.
interesting.
Yeah. Because I think like the nostalgia aesthetics have sort of changed where like now the PS1 is very nostalgic to people, so like that's become a very horror like trope, whereas like 10 years ago it was like the NES era, the SNES era.
Yeah, and the N64 as well, to a degree, because same kind of generation but very different aesthetical that's not a word, aesthetic
because like, the PS1 has a very certain look to it. I feel like I'm talking like a lot now, and like I've struggled to stay coherent. I think throughout this whole.
No, you've been fine.
Yeah, you're good.
I feel like I'm struggling to like find an end point at this point, so I'm just gonna stop. Like right.
Okay, I'll take over. I'll take over.
Done.
My tism is telling me to stop.
Well, there's Shaun's dive into internet horror as a concept, how it's evolved. And
my new attempt to lead an
ideas.
episode.
You did well, yeah.
I tried my best.
There were some things I wanted to ask, but I'll ask off podcast because we're kind of running past an hour already, so don't want to. And it's late. I think we're all very tired.
I am getting more and more tired.
So yeah, thank you for listening to this episode of Halloween Lane. Come back next week.
Is next week the folklore episode?
No. Actually.
Because you didn't mention this
surprise
episode.
I don't know.
You'll get a
mystery episode.
Is this the last one? No, this is the last one. I said another one was the last one.
The
But this
Scream
is the
one was
last
the last one, is what you said.
Oh, what's happening? I'm gonna figure it out later.
We'll see
One day
wherever
we will figure out
Yes.
the scheduling of all these episodes while we're recording them.
Yeah, I'll figure it out later. Don't worry about it. Come back next week for a new episode of Halloween Lane, or don't come back for the main show on Friday. I don't know. Goodbye.
We're very tired.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, it's up to us to take out Umbrella.